There are those among us who silently drain our energy, poison our thoughts, and derail our progress. But once you identify them, you'll find a path to unshakable peace and power. 1. The manipulator. Puppeteers of emotion. A man's true delight is to do the things he was made for. Marcus Aurelius. Manipulators are not merely people who play with your emotions. They are the puppeteers of your mind, shaping your decisions, values, and behaviors according to their selfish desires. They appear as friends, lovers, or even mentors, offering just enough charm to make you feel valued, but always with strings attached. Their masterful use of emotional blackmail may go unnoticed for a long time, but eventually their manipulation becomes unbearable. Consider a coworker who constantly flatters you, only to later ask you to cover their shifts or take on additional work, or a family member who uses guilt and obligation to control your choices. Manipulators thrive by keeping you emotionally unbalanced, questioning whether you're good enough without their validation. Why we must avoid them. Manipulators strip away our autonomy, making us reliant on their opinions and actions for a sense of worth. They weaken our independence, turning our thoughts and decisions into a reflection of their desires. Over time, this erodes self-confidence and makes it harder to distinguish your true goals from their imposed will. Stoic strategy. The Stoic philosopher Seneca advised that we must constantly examine our thoughts, asking ourselves whether they reflect our true beliefs or those imposed upon us by others. Epictetus tells us to keep your attention focused entirely on what is truly your own concern. When faced with manipulation, we must detach, reflect, and separate ourselves from the desires of the manipulator. By regaining control over our reactions, we weaken their grip on us. Additional reflection. When you confront a manipulator, keep in mind this timeless quote from Marcus Aurelius: "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Let no one paint your soul but you." The arrogant, blind to their own ignorance. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Marcus Aurelius. The arrogant are not merely individuals with inflated egos. They are fundamentally disconnected from reality. Arrogance blinds them to the value of learning, self-reflection, and humility. They position themselves as infallible, perpetually defensive when challenged, and dismissive of other viewpoints. These people can be hard to avoid, especially if they hold positions of power or authority in your life. Take, for example, the arrogant leader at work who believes their methods are superior, ignoring valuable input from others, or the friend who constantly invalidates your perspective, making every conversation about their achievements and superiority. Why we must avoid them. Engaging with arrogance limits your ability to grow. As Stoics, we recognize that wisdom comes through admitting what we don't know. The arrogant are locked in a self-imposed prison of ignorance, rejecting opportunities for personal development and the growth of those around them. Their behavior discourages constructive conversation, fostering environments of stagnation rather than improvement. Stoic strategy. Humility is the key defense against arrogance, both in others and in ourselves. When you encounter arrogant people, practice patience and avoid engaging in power struggles. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Rather than becoming frustrated with their refusal to change, focus on your own development. Remain calm, ask questions rather than argue, and avoid feeding into their desire for control." Additional reflection. "He who knows he is weak in a subject is on the path to wisdom," said Epictetus. Let the arrogance of others remind you to remain grounded in your own pursuit of knowledge and self-awareness. The gossip, poisoners of the soul. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Gossip is not simply idle chatter. It is a subtle yet potent poison that seeps into your thoughts, corrupting your soul and undermining your virtue. Gossipers prey on people's weaknesses and mistakes, spreading half-truths and lies to elevate themselves. We often meet gossipers in casual social settings. It could be the coworker who habitually shares scandalous rumors about others, or a friend who constantly complains and criticizes behind people's backs. But beware, those who indulge in gossip about others are just as likely to gossip about you. Why we must avoid them. Gossipers pull us away from wisdom and virtue. They rob us of time and focus, replacing meaningful conversation with toxic speculation. Marcus Aurelius warned that your soul takes on the color of your thoughts, and indulging in gossip darkens your character and judgment. Stoic strategy. As Stoics, we must guard our minds from idle talk. Seneca tells us that we should associate with people who are likely to improve you. Engage only in conversations that elevate your spirit, that contribute to your growth and the growth of others. If a conversation turns to gossip, steer it toward more meaningful topics or remove yourself from it entirely. Elevate your circle, and you will elevate your mind. Additional reflection. Remember the words of Epictetus. If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Walk away from gossip with grace, even if others misunderstand your reasons. The victim. Perpetual seekers of pity. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. The perpetual victim is trapped in a cycle of self-pity and helplessness. 5. The envious. Those who covet your growth. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Marcus Aurelius. Envy is a silent killer of joy and growth. The envious individual cannot stand to see others succeed, as it magnifies their own perceived shortcomings. Rather than seeking self-improvement, they focus their energy on undermining the success of others. Their subtle jabs, dismissive comments, or passive-aggressive behavior are all symptoms of their inner turmoil. Imagine a colleague who downplays your achievements or a friend who seems unable to be genuinely happy for you. Envy thrives in those who cannot separate another's success from their own failures. Why we must avoid them. Envy breeds resentment and blocks personal growth. As Stoics, we recognize that someone else's success does not diminish our own. Engaging with envious individuals only invites negativity and detracts from your own progress. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to be unlike those who perform harm. Avoid being drawn into their bitterness and focus on your own journey. Stoic strategy. Recognize envy for what it is, a reflection of another's inner suffering. Respond with compassion, but do not allow their envy to influence your thoughts or actions. Continue to pursue your goals with quiet confidence, and do not allow their negativity to affect your peace. Surround yourself with people who genuinely celebrate your successes and support your growth. 6. The narcissist. Worshippers of themselves. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Narcissists are consumed by their own self-importance. They require constant admiration and validation, often at the expense of others. In conversations, they dominate the space with their own achievements and rarely show genuine interest in anyone else's thoughts or feelings. They thrive on attention and manipulate relationships to maintain their sense of superiority. Being around a narcissist is exhausting. Every interaction revolves around them, and their need for control and admiration stifles genuine connection. Why we must avoid them. Narcissists drain your emotional energy and undermine your sense of self. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that our thoughts shape who we become, and by associating with narcissists, we risk losing sight of our own worth. Their self-obsession can consume our focus, limiting our ability to grow. Stoic strategy. Set firm boundaries. Narcissists will attempt to make every conversation about themselves, but you must remain centered in your own purpose. When dealing with narcissists, detach emotionally and avoid feeding into their need for attention. Epictetus teaches us that it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Maintain your peace and composure and limit your exposure to their influence. Additional reflection. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Let your actions, not your engagement with the narcissist, define you. 7. The cynic. Masters of despair. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. Cynics are those who view the world through a lens of negativity and hopelessness. They believe that people are inherently selfish, that life is full of suffering, and that there is no point in striving for greatness. Their pessimism is contagious, spreading doubt and despair to those around them. When you engage with a cynic, you may find yourself questioning the value of your efforts, doubting your ability to make a positive impact, or losing hope in the goodness of others. Cynics thrive on this kind of mental erosion, pulling you down to their level of despair. Why we must avoid them. Cynics undermine hope and progress. Marcus Aurelius instructs us to be good for something while you live and it is in your power. Cynics, on the other hand, refuse to believe in the possibility of goodness or improvement, stalling your own development in the process. Stoic strategy. Combat cynicism with action. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Let your deeds speak louder than the cynic's words. Surround yourself with individuals who inspire hope and drive, not those who spread despair. 8. The critic. Thieves of joy. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Marcus Aurelius. The critic is someone who never hesitates to point out your flaws, yet seldom acknowledges your strengths. They thrive on tearing others down, often under the guise of offering constructive criticism. But make no mistake, their words are laced with bitterness, designed to make you doubt yourself. Critics can be found everywhere, from co-workers to friends to online commenters. Their negative energy is contagious, leaving you doubting your own abilities and achievements. Why we must avoid them. Critics are thieves of joy. They rob you of your confidence and diminish your sense of accomplishment. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. The critic seeks to provoke a reaction, pulling you into their cycle of negativity. Stoic strategy. Respond to criticism with calmness and clarity. Do not allow their words to unsettle your peace. Take what is useful from their feedback, but discard the rest. As Marcus Aurelius advises, receive without pride, let go without attachment. Remain steady and centered, focused on your own progress. 9. The doubter. Destroyers of dreams. Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death stands at your elbow. Marcus Aurelius. The doubter is the one who lacks faith, not just in themselves, but in you as well. They are quick to point out why something won't work, why your dreams are unrealistic, and why you should settle for less. These individuals are driven by fear, and they project that fear onto others. Doubters are often disguised as well-meaning friends or family members who claim to want the best for you, but their constant skepticism can lead you to question your path, dampening your enthusiasm and slowing your progress. Why we must avoid them. Doubters drain your motivation and dampen your dreams. They operate from a place of fear, not reason. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to follow our purpose with conviction. Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death stands at your elbow. Be good for something while you live and it is in your power. Stoic strategy. Distance yourself from their negativity. While we must consider advice from others, we must also recognize when that advice is driven by fear rather than wisdom. Pursue your goals with quiet determination, trusting in your own judgment and the guidance of virtue. Conclusion. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered the toxic traits of 9 types of individuals who have the potential to derail your path to peace, wisdom, and strength. But remember, the core of Stoic philosophy isn't about changing the world. It's about changing how we react to it. The manipulator, the narcissist, the cynic, and others we've discussed are not just external obstacles. They are catalysts for your growth. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." These people may appear as hindrances, but they're actually opportunities. Opportunities to practice virtue, patience, and resilience. Now that you've identified these personalities, the real challenge begins. How will you handle them? Will you allow them to disrupt your journey, or will you stand firm, practicing the calm, unshakable strength that Stoicism teaches? Before you go, I challenge you to reflect. Who among these 9 types have you encountered in your life? How will you now respond to their presence?